People, deluded. Arsenal 2, Manchester City 0. We're through to the FA Cup. It's a madness. Like, I can feel myself smiling. I'm so happy right now. I can't ask nobody for nothing more today. What do I always ask for? I ask for belief, commitment, consistency, the fear for letting their teammates down, the fear for letting themselves down. And I could not have asked any other player for anything more. So this player ratings is going to be easy. Everybody really couldn't have asked anyone for more. Fantastic performance, like I said, man. Before I get into the ratings, I feel if we were to, really do some analysis prior to us scoring, you knew how the game was. A bit like when we played Liverpool. Liverpool out the blocks fast. They were at us. We were pending our own half. We had to do a lot of defending. There were some nervy moments, throughout the game. Second half, Pepe and Ceballos lost the ball carelessly. Early on in the game, Mustafi, I was thinking, what's going on, sort of thing. Bellerin had a heart in mouth moment. I feel Ceballos had a heart in mouth moment, but we recovered. Fantastic move. I think it was 17 passes to get our goal. Lovely for the second as well. In between game management, end of the first and end of the second half. Superb people, rigid defending from everybody. David Luiz, Colossus in the air. Mustafi reacting after a slow start. Martinez reacting to anything put in front of him. Tierney getting his body there. Big up Granit Xhaka as well today. Big boy performance, and he bossed it in midfield. Maitland-Niles, I think going forward he needs to polish up on his final ball and stuff like that. Got defensively in the thick of it. Bellerin, think he reacted well and put in a little shift. I think Lacazette pressed well. He might not have scored or assist, but I think he had as good of a game as he did against Liverpool, and it's nice to see him remembering that he's a good player. Aubameyang, 2 goals, can't ask him for nothing more. Pepe, at the end of the day, we spent 70 odd million from him. If we wasn't going to play him in this game, there'd be alarm bells. If he went anonymous, there'd be alarm bells. To be involved in both of the goals, couldn't have asked anyone for more. And like I said, I think the front three pressed very well. I think the defence defended very well. I think Arteta got his tactics spot on. At the end of the day, we knew what we was going to be against City. We knew that they were going to have the bulk of the chances and possession. We probably expected, if anything, we'd have to do a 3-2, a 2-1. We didn't probably expect to keep a clean sheet. That is fantastic as well, and is a thing in itself, achievement. Can't have asked anybody for any more. Fantastic performance. So it's an easy one really. But when we really nitpick, I give Martinez an 8. No. Give Martinez a 9, because I'm sure there was a couple saves or opportunities. He did well, man. He stayed concentrated and he helped keep a clean sheet. I'm gonna give Martinez an 8, people. I'm gonna give Martinez an 8. Gonna give Mustafi an 8 as well. I think Mustafi was good, but it would be a 9. But he did kind of start a bit slow, people. But he bossed it as well. David Luiz, 10 out of 10 performance. 10 out of 10. If between him and Aubameyang, he scored 2 goals. And Xhaka, for me, they're the 3 real standouts, and I don't like to really do that because it was a good collective performance. But David Luiz bossed it today. Important blocks. Even trying to find passes. We need him to stand up to be counted. And we have a love-hate relationship with Luiz. He's had good forms this season, and he's done some woeful stuff. And I said he should start in my preview because I'm looking at it, and I said in the preview, I'm not being funny, but for all Luiz is, he's been around the block with Chelsea. He's experienced. This is a game where man needs to stand up to be counted. And for as much of a headache David Luiz typically is, I wanted him in there. And I can't be a hypocrite. He makes me look good, but I would be here kind of slating him if he didn't play well. And I think Tierney, don't have to spend much time on Tierney. He's passed another test. He's locked down Zaha, he's locked down Adama, he's locked down Salah, he's locked down now Mahrez, and this is a good sort of thing, and it's nice to have him there. Like I said, I've got to give out Maitland-Niles credit as well, people. So it was a fantastic performance, like I said, from everybody, man. But Martinez 8, Mustafi 8, David Luiz 10, Kieran Tierney a 9. I think he was good. Maitland-Niles, I was going to give him a 7, but I'm going to give him an 8 because defensively I couldn't have asked for more from him. The only problems you could say in his game today is he needs to sharpen up in the final third with his crossing, with his final ball. It can be a bit better. That's probably the only way he let himself down, but he backed his manager's faith. He said allegedly he wants to leave to play more football. He's been played at left back and stuff. Don't know why Saka's not got a look in. Actually, don't even remember if Saka is on the bench, but he's backed up his manager's choice. He's backed it up in the same way Liverpool Nelson did, and it's nice to see that. So you keep working hard, you get your opportunities, and most importantly, you take them. And you've probably played your way into maybe even starting the league, and it'd be unfortunate if you can't play in the FA Cup final, because it's a tough headache because everybody's played their part to get us here. So like I said, Maitland, I give him an 8. Sabas, I give a 7, and another day it'd probably be a 6, because by his own standards that he set, I think he didn't really have the best of games. I think he mucked him well. I think his passing was so-so, to put it nicely. I think he played well, but I don't think he got going to the standards of definitely his midfield partner Xhaka. So I still think he played well. So it'll be a 6 on another day, but I'll give him a 7. I'll give Xhaka a 10, because for me, you know, I feel Xhaka's performance is going to get lost at the end of the day. You know, David Luiz, quite rightly so, deserves everyone to speak about him, because there's a lot of, even me, you know, I'm a fair man. There's bare energy when Luiz makes them mistakes and gets sent off. Same energy when he's playing well. Credit where due for every man, you know. So I feel Luiz deserves his plaudits. Aubameyang obviously scored 2 goals and is a hero, which he typically is. But for me, I feel Xhaka bossed it. Now, Xhaka is never, you know, Xhaka isn't perfect, you know. I wouldn't build my team around Xhaka. He'd be involved, but he wouldn't be a starter necessarily. But he's playing well, backing up Arteta's faith. Obviously, Xhaka isn't a midfielder that's going to get goals and assists and do that sort of stuff. So maybe people can't always see what he gives us. I'm not saying he's perfect, but I feel he was committed today, defensively spot on. Early on as well, when City were on top of us, I feel Xhaka bossed it. And you know, he'd be up there for man of the match with me, but he probably would lose it quite rightly so to Luiz or Aubameyang. But I give Xhaka a 10. I feel listen, if you feel different, that's fine. But for me, I feel Xhaka, Luiz, Aubameyang in particular, for me, were good. And beyond that, Tierney and Lacazette. It's pretty easy for me to say on that note, you know, I'll give Aubameyang a 10 as well. At the end of the day, if he can't have a say in what's going on today, what have we got this guy for? Because he's a quality striker, but at the end of the day, we need big players to stand up. And you know, he's missed a couple chances and done a couple things we expect more from him. But at the end of the day, he scored 2 goals. Without his goals, we're not going through. We needed his clinicalness. We needed him to stand up to be carried. And now, you know, hopefully we can win the FA Cup. Aubameyang signed a new deal that'll be a bit of positives to go with Saka and Martinelli. And off the back of what's been a tough season, Aubameyang gets a 10 for me. Lacazette, I give Lacazette 8. I think he played well. I give Pepe a 9, because at the end of the day, I think he should get 8, because I think he pressed well, but he was involved in both goals, so I'll give him a bonus point. Mikel Arteta gets a 10 out of 10 for his game plan and tactics and the rest of it. I think he got it spot on. You know, I think Joe Willock it would be a 6, but a 7 based on, I like when he came on, what he was pressing and just what he was doing. Clearly listened to what Arteta said, but really none of the subs were on long enough to really give a rating, if we're honest. But it's not for individuals, it's a good collective performance. Obviously, when we nitpick, it's another game where Pepe's played well and it gives him a bit of confidence. Aubameyang's got 2 goals. Xhaka's played well. You know, Maitland-Niles has come in at fullback and done very well. Mustafi, David Luiz have done very well and they're very criticised. Tierney continues his good form. Martinez, you know, he's doing his thing in goal. Good collective performance, and it's a fantastic day. And I called for the boys. I said I wanted to see belief. I wanted the boys to play that game and believe, you know, with all due respect and with all manners, people, fuck Man City and how good they are at the moment, yeah, because I'm talking about as a player. I'm not saying the club and being disrespectful. I'm saying if I'm an Arsenal player, off the field, you know, they've got some quality players in their team, but when you're playing, you can't admire them, because subconsciously you start over-respecting them. And I think early on we actually did do that. But at some point you got to say to yourself, at the end of the day, they got 11, we've got 11. It's football, innit? It's not no mad, you know, it's not a madness, it's a game of football. If you have belief, you have half of it. And I wanted to see belief, commitment, fear of letting themselves down, actual fear of being on the, you know, when the game's done and it's all said and done and the fans and everything's gone, not that there's fans today, but in your dressing room, when you're having that shower, when you're driving home, before you go to bed, don't have that rotten feeling in your belly. I wanted to see that today. And I also wanted to see, if we did lose to City, like let's just say they won 3-2 today and took some of their chances, I would still be giving the same ratings and saying the same thing, because what I wanted to see is soldiers, men in the trenches, you know, siege mentality. If City were going to win, let it be because Kevin scored a free kick or did a blinder. Stand up to be counted. Don't lose that field not thinking you could have done more or knowing you didn't give anything less than 100%. That's the minimum, you know. And what we did today, this is what I talk about, becomes the minimum. Like the minimum, being switched on defensively, not conceding cheap goals. This should be the minimum, to the point where we're not even praising that, because that is the minimum we need to do if we're going to be a top 4 team, if we're going to get in Europa Leagues next season, if we're in it. But in relation to today, couldn't have asked more for any of the individuals involved, people. So yeah, man, high rate, really and truly, you know, I'm giving ratings just, you know, I like to do this sort of thing for opinions and stuff and hear how you lot think. But arguably every player today in their own way, 10 out of 10 performance, and how can it not be? You've played Man City, you've kept a clean sheet, you've scored 2 goals, you've left the semi-final now and you're going to Wembley. You lot will be there next year. So it is, well, next game, sorry. So tomorrow we'll see who we're playing in that final. In that, it could be United, it could be Chelsea. I mean, I'd like to play Chelsea, try get revenge for the Europa League last year. You know, as an Arsenal fan, I'm used to Drogba bullying us in all them League Cup finals with like a bit of revenge. Man United, Arsenal, 2 teams with a rich history in the FA Cup. Last time we bucked them in the final, we won. You know, would love to do. Imagine if Twitter was around in 2005, it would have been a mazza. Would love to see, we're in the final. You want to relish whoever we play, but most importantly, I want to see the same thing: win, lose, or whatever in that final, knowing we couldn't have done more. You know, not being if we're going to be defeated, losing to the final margins, letting City's, the fact that they've got quality players shine. But we were the better men today. I couldn't have asked more from anybody. Couldn't have asked more from Arteta. Very good performance today, man. In fact, the only thing I was thinking about is if he would actually take off Ceballos sooner, to be fair with you. But other than that, perfect from everybody. In fact, it was perfect, so don't misunderstand. So, yeah, man, with that being said, I'd love to hear you lot's opinions and what you lot are thinking as well. Football's a diverse game, and it's always nice to hear opinions. I'm not right, I'm not wrong. You lot are not right, you lot are not wrong. We all just see things through different lenses and perspectives. And, that's one thing I like about my channel. I read a lot of you lot's comments and see different viewpoints and change my way of thinking, and there's a lot of stuff. I really like the debates we've got going on, so I'd really appreciate if you lot obviously comment, like, subscribe and share it up and do the rest of it. But most importantly, make sure you stay safe. On that note, until we meet again, people, DG, I'm out. We're going to Wembley. Mad thing.